Hello everyone, I'm Nakvi.
And I'm Peter.
And we are the Birds of Play.
As you're probably aware if you play Final Fantasy XIV, this year's FanFest was held online due to the ongoing pandemic. Which is of course a bit of a shame, but at the same time it's lucky for us since it means that we were able to tune in along with everyone else.
And if you don't play Final Fantasy XIV, did you know that it's a critically acclaimed MMORPG, which has a free trial up to level 60, including the award-winning Heavensward expansion?
But putting the plug for the game aside for the moment, FanFest is of course mainly intended for those that are already fans of the game and want to come together to celebrate it. And as a celebration of FanFest itself, we have compiled a list of 10 highlights from the show to share with all of you.
So, whether you didn't have time to tune in for the entire 2 days of festivities, or whether you just want to relive it, we got you covered. And speaking of covering things, how about covering that subscribe button with your finger or mouse cursor, clicking that bell and helping us stay in touch as we continue to celebrate and study Final Fantasy together. But for now, let's celebrate the Final Fantasy XIV FanFest 2021.
Highlight number 1. The full trailer. Of course they come out guns blazing with a full version of the trailer, which adds quite a bit of new scenes to the teaser we got earlier this year. Old Sharlayan looks particularly great, and the trailer just gets me excited for the music in general. During the FanFest, Yoshi P mentioned that originally there had been 6 starting cities planned for the game, but they had to cut them down to 3. But now with Old Sharlayan, all 6 of the starting cities will now be a part of the game. It took a while, but just like with most things Final Fantasy XIV, the wait will most likely be worth it.
I knew it.
Highlight number 2. The Reaper Cometh. When I say Reaper though, I'm not really talking about the reveal of the new Reaper class, since Yoshi P's shirt from the last announcement showcase had already hinted at the new class being something like that. What I am talking about, however, is Yoshi P himself stepping out on stage dressed as a Reaper, once again proving himself to be the king of cosplay. He looked really great in the outfit and really sold it with a gigantic scythe, even though it was too heavy and too hot for him in the costume to keep holding it. But the costume was then made complete by Koji Fox, who was translating for Yoshi P as he offered to become his ghost avatar thingy. Knowing the Final Fantasy XIV community, Koji then invited everyone to make it into a meme, and the people did not disappoint.
Highlight number 3. Bunny Boys. With the keynote coming to a close, Koji asked Yoshi P whether he wasn't forgetting something, gesturing to him in a way that will haunt me for the rest of my life. But it was all worth it, since the thing he was forgetting was to introduce the much asked for male Viera. They're a little bit smaller than I might have hoped for, but that's alright with me because I'm still enjoying my Ellison dressed up as a bird. But for all the people that had been waiting to play a male Viera, this was hopefully a welcome surprise.
Highlight number 4. Release date. Originally advertised as Fall 2021, the final release date for the game has been announced as the 23rd of November, with early access beginning on the 19th. When making this announcement, however, Yoshi P turned to Koji and asked him whether he would actually classify late November as fall, which he replied to as, "Probably not." Yoshi P then went on to explain that the reason for calling it Fall 2021 is that winter just sounds way too late. He then went on to justify not calling it winter by saying that it's not even snowing in Hokkaido at that time of year, a statement he then had to apologize for in the next panel, telling everyone he meant to say that the snow isn't piling up yet, since of course it's already snowing in Hokkaido by then, which Yoshi P knows very well being a native of Hokkaido. It's okay Yoshi P, we don't care how you define time, as long as you keep delivering games when they're ready.
Highlight number 5. Digital Tourism. In the segment, How Do You Like Hydaelyn, we were invited to explore some of the game world. Most notably, the Idleshire, a location that I've spent a fair bit of time in, but still remained blind to a lot of the lore that was embedded in the scenery, such as the Sharlayan emblem embedded on the spire, or an abandoned aetherite factory that used to be run by the Sharlayans. We were also taken to the Azim Steppe to meet some wild Matangas. All in all, it was a great reminder about all of the work that goes into making the game, and all the lore that is present in the game world itself. I for one would love to go on some more digital tours around Eorzea.
Highlight number 6. Lahi for life. Having Soken on stage was always a great time, since he's not only a legendary composer, but also a very entertaining and wonderfully strange individual. He proved this by going full Lahi, in the middle of a piano concert performed by Keiko Osaki, who got to sit there in the background listening to Soken wailing with all his heart, all the while playing two automatons simultaneously. Keiko later remarked that she was impressed he managed to pull it off, but her original reaction might suggest that she's suffering from a mild case of Stockholm Syndrome.
Highlight number 7. Soken checking his phone. At the start of day 2, Soken continued to steal the show by checking his phone in the middle of the commencement address, representing perhaps the most relatable moment of the entire FanFest, and I love it. That's it. I have spoken about Soken.
Highlight number 8. Developer Stories. Now, having dedicated an entire numbered highlight to Soken picking up his phone, let me cram all of the insightful stories by the developers into a single entry on this list. Whether it be battle content designer Daisuke Nakagawa talking about his approach to designing the fight with Omega, or lead animator Takunobu Miyazawa offering insights into the animation process, it was a real joy seeing the people behind the game not only explaining how they chose to do things, but also taking credit for their work. Natsuko Ishikawa also shared some insights into the story and her writing process, which seemed to include sometimes working very late. We know that it takes a lot of work to keep a game like Final Fantasy XIV going strong, but be careful not to work too hard. Thanks for all the work you do.
Highlight number 9. Dancing Mad. And speaking of the developers being great, during the Primal concert, a few took to the stage for a dance number inspired by the popular Final Fantasy XIV meme, showing just how well they are listening to the Final Fantasy XIV community by moving their bodies to some excellent music from the game. Also, this Japanese man is a very fine specimen, a very handsome man. I'm sad to say I forgot his name, but it just makes it easy for me to objectify him.
Highlight number 10. Bard of Light. Although the word highlight probably isn't the right word, one of the most impactful moments of the FanFest was delivered right at the very end, when it was revealed that Soken had been battling cancer. Thankfully the cancer is now in remission, and we just hope it stays that way. But this wasn't just news to the fans, but also to most of the developers. The writer, Ishikawa, expressing the sentiment that she felt bad for making him work so hard when he was dealing with something so serious. Soken, however, comforted her by saying that having his work gave his life meaning, and also that he got strength from all the players and fans of Final Fantasy XIV that enjoy his music.
And there you have it, our top 10 highlights from Final Fantasy XIV FanFest 2021.
Join us as we wait for Endwalker coming out in November. But for now, listen to us singing like birds. Bird sounds. Beautiful, isn't it?